Hello,
Hello,
everyone.
everyone.
Hello.
As you can see, I finally unbraided my hair to let out my full afro.
Yes.
I don't know about the Afro part.
Oh, it's definitely an afro. It's full on uh early '80s. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there we go. Matthew's the living incarnation of that picture. Hey, Mom.
Hey, Mom, how you doing? Today's topic is we're just going to discuss what's happening in the world today.
And there's the black inside. Mm.
That's really all the topics today. You want to hear? You all can feel free to comment on what's happening in the world today. But what I'm going to kick it off with is simply keep seeing memes. There's a lot of them, especially with the brawl that happened. That we're all aware of now. So I don't know what that noise is, but really that's all we wanted to talk about was what's happening in the world. Because there's things that led up to that Montgomery brawl, as it's called. We are. I think you all. You should be. You better have realized from history the Montgomery bus boycott. Are you familiar with that?
No, sadly, not.
They teach you about it in school. Elliot, what about you?
I can't really hear y'all at all. I'm hearing the fish tank more than I'm actually hearing
I
y'all.
can't hear you very well. Can
Yeah,
you?
I might have to actually adjust that a little bit because that's pretty loud.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, we are having an entire technical meltdown.
Ooh. Is it because my afro is taking up too much Wi-Fi?
I would hope not.
I can almost survive about 30 minutes. All
Yeah,
right.
y'all disappeared, and
Yeah, we have to fix the sound. Sounds pretty much. It was a little bit too bubbly, so I have to turn that off for a bit. Yeah, but
does it sound like water?
so,
Does it sound like water in the back?
no, it doesn't sound like any
Okay, just
Just
want to
make one down.
make sure. But no, I had asked, Elliot, do you know about the Montgomery bus boycott?
Yeah, I heard about it not too long ago. Well, yeah. Honestly, I'm very disappointed that even we would resort to violence like that.
You kind of went out for a minute.
You might want to.
Honestly, I'm disappointed that we would even go to violence like that. As human beings, you think we'd be smarter and maybe a bit more intelligent, but it seems like nowadays we're reverting back into cavemen where we think violence can solve all of our problems. It doesn't do anything except cause more problems. Then after that, instead of them receiving actual punishment for what they did, they basically got off scot free with no problems. That old elderly black male, he could have died when he fell like that, but oh, it's fine. It was just a brawl,
Oh
which
no,
is
they
no
make
at
no
all.
doubt about it. They did get
Oh, I
arrested.
thought you were talking about something else,
Hey,
not the fight that happened.
Yeah, that's it's every and
hey,
it's happening in the world today. We know that a lot of things have happened in Montgomery. The boycott, the Montgomery prison letters from Martin Luther King Jr., and now the Montgomery brawl. It's it seems like we're at a turning point of that of racism, where a lot of
everything.
people are not having that.
Yeah, but to be honest, that those people honestly did deserve to get beat up because the thing about it is when you watch the thing,
They beat up that old man just because, and then they thought that by gaining up on him, they were going to be able to just go ahead and get off scot free. And yeah, like you said, the turning point for racism because now after seeing all the stuff that's happening with black people out of the world, now they're realizing I don't want to just sit by and have nightmares for the rest of my life because I could have done something. Instead, they're saying, "All right, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna go fight."
I feel you. It's a lot of problems that took place with that George Floyd, where everybody sees it, and then you're sitting back and everybody's filming it, but nobody's helping. And I think I agree. We're not going to sit there and let that happen again because people need to sleep at night. People deserve to feel safe. He was just doing his job, but this is only one of the series of brawls that have happened. I'm pretty sure for my birthday, which was on the 5th, we went out and ate at Cheddar's. Well, like what was it, 2 weeks or a week before that? A boy had gotten beaten up working the shift at Cheddar's, in a Cheddar's restaurant, and he was trying to correct the order, and then they jumped him.
I
I don't know where people.
Go even farther beyond that because in the coming months before your birthday, there was constant people because you see all these Karen videos of people going out and talking about how a Karen walks into my workplace and look what she did. A Karen walked into here and did this and this and this and that. But the fact is, what people think is, it's just a Karen. It's a person who complains. But what they don't think about is when you get a person like that who walks up in and physically assaults you, and not just like a Karen where they slap you or hit you, where they honestly think, okay, I'm resorting fully to violence. I've gone from being annoying to now I am going to possibly cause you severe bodily harm.
Even more so, people jump in on it because they didn't really specify who had initiated it, how it kicked off, just what had happened.
Or
and
who
a boy
has done something wrong and who was in the wrong.
Yeah, and
so
a boy
people
got
try to justify themselves, but they don't understand who's the aggressor and who's the victim.
What just happened just now? Oh, a comment.
Oh yeah, by the way,
Everything's
we
moving
released a history quiz. Is I believe it was yesterday or 2 days ago.
Yeah, Dad released a history quiz. It's not answering questions. It's just looking at faces and trying to figure out, do you know the name associated with the face? If you know why this, if you know why we put that out, if you want to know why we put that out, it's because I'm sure a lot of people have seen the meme of who invented the chair for the folding chair because of the brawl. But they did not have a picture of the right man. They had, and just like that, his name just
slipped out of your ear.
Yeah, you forgot the name immediately, didn't you?
Yeah.
Welcome to my world.
Indeed. Welcome to my world.
Oh, it's back. Louis Latimer. You will know what, yes, Louis Latimer. They do. We saw that picture, and it's like, okay, where did they get this from? But if you go on the site and they say, hey, who is this? They have Louis Latimer's face on there, but unless you know who his face is, you're not going to get it right.
Yeah,
but when you see them, I'm better with faces. Like, if I would have seen the face, and then I would have known, okay, yeah, that's who that is. But unfortunately, with they confused them with Nathaniel Alexander. But the problem is, yes, they confused him with Nathaniel Alexander, who was the inventor of the folding chair. I don't think they have a picture of him, but in society we are so conditioned to just accept the face that we see of here's this face. Like
Oh no, bro.
there's one with
I remember the names. I remember the names.
but sure you do. You can
Yeah, of course I do.
Sorry
Right,
if the
right
is
back.
fighting anyone. Um, most recently we have been experiencing very bad weather.
yeah, everybody has been with
I mean, that's just a part of global warming at this
when
point.
when you ignore climate change, it's just that. You can ignore okay, we don't like global warming. Well, it is called climate change. Climates are going to change. We usually get a whole lot of sun. The grass would just be dead. Now we getting a whole lot of rain.
Wait, I just thought of this. Because it was summer, or only because it was summer, we didn't get snow. The snow melted and turned into rain.
That's
Yeah,
how
but you forget. Sometimes rain won't turn into snow. It'll turn into hail.
And that's what we've been getting as well. Problem is that causes problems for tornadoes, and there have been tornado sightings in other places of the country.
I thought of getting a cup of ice with how much ice was.
That's why you got to be aware of your surroundings at the times you live in.
And now no hell.
You don't want to be caught up in these tornadoes, nor any other environmental disaster.
So you said people are always asking where we are in the book of Revelation. But you believe the better question was something you wanted to ask on your show. What was that? Yeah, people, if you are not familiar with that meme, it's the meme of a woman standing out saying, seeing what chapter of Revelations we're living through today. The thing is, you're not really living in Revelations yet. There are things that you will see in Revelations, such as the eclipse and the sun turn to darkness, the blood moon. You get those, but really,
I mean, all it really takes is for you to read the first page of Revelations, and you realize if you see any of these signs, it's time to get right, because you go into Revelations like I did when I was a child. You realize I don't want to be here for this.
Exactly.
This sounds horrible.
No one wants to be here for that. But the thing is, you might not be in it. The book of Jeremiah tells you about Judah reaping God's wrath for things that they were doing. The problem is that when you see things there, and you sum them up for today, you're like, okay, like we're having extreme weather that's just out of nowhere, seemingly out of nowhere. We call it from global warming of us leaving carbon footprint. But the problem is, yeah, you can sum it up to science, but from a religious standpoint, you kind of see that God's not happy, and you can look around and see why. Like, look at the Montgomery brawl. There would have been no problem at all. Unfortunately, there was.
Humans can't have peace.
That's one way to put it.
I wouldn't say humans can't have peace, Matthew. It's just the fact that we can't have everlasting peace. Because the thing about it is, with peace comes no conflict, comes no need for certain things, and with without a need
People
of weapons.
like chaos.
Exactly.
They like chaos. That's it.
And the thing is that it could have ended very badly because we've seen like
it did end very badly, basically.
Yeah, in past months, people have just been shot. We had a sprue of just people being so flippant with guns that.
And that's what I'm saying. We need to go back to the old timey days where you don't like a person, you get a nice white glove, you throw it at them, and then you call it duel. But you don't use no guns. That's a coward's tool. You get a full-on arena, and you get a blade, Because guess what? I bet you one thing. You won't be out there trying to call up duels when you're trying to lift a heavy broadsword talking about, I'm going to get you, and wearing that heavy dang chainmail armor. You'll be thinking, oh, I don't like this person, but I don't like this more.
Well, if you want to try and fun top of the idea, you should go pay us at
No, you want to
our PayPal.
Y'all have very weird ways of plugging in that banner.
Exactly.
on brawls. Then
But
but if you want to also,
I don't think I want to fund the gladiators.
but you could
Nah, bro.
fun
Our fun is for people to make more white gloves so you can throw it at people. Gotta get them white gloves.
that sounds like
I'm pretty sure that's not what we need to do either. Because yeah, you slap me with a glove,
or petty.
it's gonna be on for real.
but we can buy it.
But again,
grade.
people
And
want. I'm just glad that nobody did get killed because it could have ended really bad. Mainly because
even if nobody got killed, that's still bad. We've decided,
it's still bad.
not really decided, but we've come to this modern age where the best thing that could possibly happen is everybody's just bruised up and nobody's dead. That's still very bad. It shouldn't be regulated as, oh, everybody's just hurt. Some people may have went to the hospital. Everything's fine. But
you know what? At the end of the day, they still walked away with their life.
They walked away with their life, but it was still a chaotic moment that shouldn't have happened in the first place.
Exactly.
Anytime that could have gone from a normal everyday situation to
It wouldn't happen at all.
The normality of, it's just okay. They got a few bruises, and make it, but
I don't
don't
think
get
I can make
don't get wrong. I agree with what Elliot's saying. However, I'm not saying that, if something's happening, don't go and beat somebody up.
I didn't say that
Exactly.
because I don't completely validate the violence that went on, but at the same time, if they didn't interfere, more people
that person, that one
brutally
person could have been killed just because while everyone wants because nobody wanted to stand up. So we ain't saying just watch it.
By definition, it was basically self-defense.
Mom says that I thank God there was only a aluminum chair that was used. Now we can put down the guns. It ain't gonna be that simple.
I mean,
let's
we
be
didn't
honest.
really put down the guns.
You
There
bet.
was no guns that we could have used that was in the vicinity.
You understand
They
that
grabbed shares or anything they could get their hands on, Mom. If they had a gun, they probably would.
If they would have had a cast iron skillet, they probably would have used it.
that. What?
What you mean? Bugs Bunny's head only gets flattened when
Papa, they drop safes on people's head. You think somebody gonna? Oh, I'm gonna live if I drop an anvil on your head. You don't get up as an accordion. You just stay there as a puddle.
I'm gonna live if I run through the paint it on tunnel.
Exactly.
Bro, I'm pretty sure there is a painted tunnel like in freaking Road Runner and Coyote, and I'm pretty sure it's actually real. I'm almost 100% sure.
Yeah, and you run full speed into that.
Absolutely. If there is a fully nice looking desert on the other side of it,
Papa,
I'm running directly into it.
Papa, you probably think the person from the riddles that we did, it will come after you next.
We ain't talking about no riddles.
The revolutionary method speaks. Yeah. The Fro definitely says, I am the revolutionary.
All I see is
I am a
worldwide globe.
I am.
I am the
revolution.
The chair was mostly plastic. I mean,
we have seen the chair, but again, it is nice that nobody died because people used to.
Yeah, it's nice that nobody died, but I'm more glad that
on the playground.
The situation didn't escalate.
Yeah, that the
people would scrap on the playground, but they weren't.
That they actually needed help instead of watching and sitting by before we had another incident like the ones we've had in the past. where people could have intervened, but they didn't, which would have been really bad. Cause,
because it would have caused more people to be out here.
Yep, it would have caused riots, chaos, and more damage than.
I do understand where you're coming from, Ellie, because I do fear that the reason that, well, I understand the reason that this happened, and it didn't have to happen had somebody not been entitled to attack a man of authority while he was just
But they
doing
won't be entitled again, Teddy.
but just as you said, people now, they will be more active to cling to their guns of, oh, well, we just got to bring it because you never know what will happen.
Okay, let me.
And a lot of things came out of what was said there, because even on the footage, you didn't really hear a lot of what happened. But apparently that dude that got off of the boat and ended up getting attacked with that chair, he was saying that we should shoot you. And
and that's probably why he got beat down with a chair. Yeah. If you threaten me and talk about we should shoot you, I'm gonna beat you down with the chair.
Try to
I
get on
WWE. It works when people start smack talking.
Hey, he also said, if you haven't seen Trigger Words, go to the Man Up show with Mike and Phil. Phil was not there, sadly, but you still have Mike Riley, who is an advocate and supporter of our program. But Mom, Dad, and Mike were all talking about trigger words. And the N word is a trigger word. And Papa, can you elaborate on what fighting words are?
Simple. Fighting words are, you pretty much told me that this cannot be resolved unless we throw hands.
And is that a legal
That
term?
sounds like real respectable fighting words. I'm sorry, but we must do
It is.
solve our issue.
But
Fighting words is upholdable in the court of law.
Fighting words.
If
It's like fighting words to me. It's like real petty insults that you try to get in as you walking away and make the person go, "What'd you say to me?"
Yeah,
Those
Yeah,
are
but
fighting
see
words.
that dude running across the
That's what
street
it is.
on a bike.
I actually did see a video like that. This kid, he said, "I'm gonna come back and we gonna fight." And he got on his bike and he acted like he was pedaling away. Then he turned his bike around, gained momentum on the bike, smacked the dude at the back of the head, ran for his bike, and the bike was still moving. Got on the bike and started pedaling away, and got away.
Yeah, it's a blessing he could, because in all honesty, I bet you that dude was booking it.
Oh no, he was older than him.
Yeah,
So
we
he
are
had
familiar
some
with
type of strategy.
we are familiar with fighting words as a colloquialism, but it
I
is
should fight you.
upholdable.
I mean, I should shoot you.
It is upholdable in the court of law, and I should, as Mom said, I should shoot you. Is
Yeah.
a trigger word.
That is
And-
not only fighting words, but those are you have to defend yourself
That
from them.
sounds more like running
and
words.
threat.
No, that's self-defense words. Because you know what happens? If somebody says I'm going to shoot you, that means I'm going to cause severe harm to you, which means I have to now defend myself. Which is why people always tell you anything you say will be held against you in a court of law. Because if
But
you're
it
sitting
was
there
actually
thinking,
said,
I can say this. Yeah,
what
say
was
that all
actually
you want
said
until you're in the court.
what he was actually reported to have said was, "We should shoot you in words." One, that's two fighting words. I gotta defend myself because now you mean violence, and you already said a trigger word. You said a word that you knew that you shouldn't say to instigate a brawl.
Yeah.
So
you
now-
just told me we should shoot trigger word. You said fighting word, trigger word, and then you tried to literally move into doing say action.
The sad thing is, once you get that far, there's no going back. Because if you do decide to
Exactly.
fight, you don't
Yeah,
know
you
who's
don't-
gonna come after you next.
Exactly.
So you
Thus
know-
the chair.
There's no de-escalation after that. The heat bike guy kept the engine running, Hunt Elliott.
No, it was a normal bike.
That's even better.
Ah.
You do gotta really start pedaling
Oh, it was an actual
It's
kid.
fleet.
Just
Motorcycle and bikes are two different things.
yeah, but you got to realize if that stoplight would have came up while he was biking,
No, it was on a little street side. Nobody really knew about.
well, at least he had a good plan of escape.
Yeah, that kid was smart.
A lack of historical education has conceived people that blacks don't fight. Our ancestors.
Oh no! Don't get that misconstrued. Our ancestors did fight. When you look at Haiti, yeah, our ancestors fought and they won. They won a lot. The only reason they couldn't win sometimes is because the
They
the
had
great
trust.
equalizer. Yeah, the great
Trust.
equalizer and trust. That was the only things that really made it so that they did not win every battle. When you trust too much and when you don't. Because when you look at the Zulu, you realize, yeah, I don't think you can win. And you realize something real quick. If you don't gain their trust and try to slowly thin them out and conquer and divide and conquer, sorry, then you will automatically lose every battle because they know their home turf. They have all the means to win, even if you come with guns, home turf advantage plus weapons that don't run out of ammunition, you're
Well,
screwed. And as well as the fact that they can just starve you out. You don't know what's edible, and you don't know how to obtain it without going into their turf where they know you're gonna go. So they're just sitting and waiting. Thus,
Okay.
you lose.
I
Let me
guess
real quick say is if you are enjoying our podcast or live stream, you should subscribe. I ring the bell, like the video. Oh, so this can be put on more people's recommended it pages. And if you are watching on Facebook, Twitch, or Twitter, or follow us.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
But not in real life. But if you
I
see,
knew that was coming.
but if you see us,
Yeah, if you see us in real life, just say, "Hey, don't slowly put on a black trench coat and just stop."
do not pull out a bag. Otherwise, I will not allow you in my arm reach. And if I see you enter my arm reach,
What hey?
Huh?
With a black bag. Y'all were watching that dude sing. First we take Manhattan, then we take Berlin again. I told y'all to stop watching that music video.
Got over that.
No, y'all didn't. I still think that whole music video. I don't know what they were doing at the beach. I don't know why they were wearing hot clothes to the beach.
Hell, it was a statement.
And what that
for real.
being left.
But nah, for real. When it comes down to it, our ancestors fought. They had way too many ways to fight, as well as way too many ways to win. So it's not the fact that we don't fight; it's the fact that we choose to try to go a peaceful, diplomatic route before we say, "Okay, that's no longer an option. Alrighty then," and then we go into it's time to
just
fight.
like our ancestors.
Okay, I see that we were accumulating comments that came in here. The government can tell everyone to trade guns for multi-purpose aluminum folding chairs. That'll give a whole nother.
I'm going to be throwing.
That'll give a whole nother meaning to the right to bear arms.
The new best weapon should be chair.
Honestly,
Or
I
a
would
portable
joke
chair.
about this, but I think this is a very
Don't hurt me,
serious
so I can
situation
make it happen.
We're not making
Shouldn't take lightly.
What is wrong?
Because if you really put it like this, a bunch of white males jumped an elderly black male.
Knowing he was weak.
That sounds pretty odd, doesn't it?
I mean, in today's society, you
Sounds like what happened.
people pick battles they can
And
win.
again,
They pick battles that they can win, but that's what you see personally. It seems like an attack of racism, doesn't it, Papa?
I mean, that's exactly
It
what
is. It is. I was being sarcastic.
Exactly.
Yeah. I would take or at least make a joke about this, but this isn't something that should be taken very lightly. Because if we constantly allow allow stuff like this to happen, and we just blow past it like the passing trend and make jokes about it. It really takes away from the seriousness
Yeah, but
of the matter.
that's the thing about it, Elliot.
It's like that submarine thing that they did with the Titanic, or the Titanic.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
They
about.
made fun of it and downplayed it so hard that people forgot the seriousness of the matter, and nobody really talks about it.
Yeah, but the thing about this is the reason that everybody's joking about it is because of the fact that
They got hurt. They got counter jumped.
no, because of the
And
fact that they got counter jumped and hurt. But they're also joking about it because almost everyone on the internet has taken the side of these people who went and jumped them back because of the fact.
Yeah, it was validated.
Exactly.
But the problem is that I'm genuinely disgusted
Yeah, I get
in our
what you're
society that a bunch of white males feel that they have the authority to go and jump an elderly black male. And not only that, but he was basically winning too. He was putting hands on that white boy before his other friend jumped in.
You mean
I get it, but
It's just disgusting that
when you really
we
think
allow
about
that to happen.
it, did you see what was happening afterwards, though?
Yeah, they got messed
No,
up.
I'm not talking about them. But with the elderly black man, he got up off the ground after they made sure that he was okay. The young boy, the 16-year-old boy that swam over to help him, he went over and made sure they was all right. But later, you see him in the cut footage from the dock. He's still doing his job, tying up the boat
Yeah,
as they came in.
because he didn't go back because this is violence, and now I'm gonna go get my violence in. He went on with his day.
I mean, there was no real war up to
The thing is that
Yeah.
it's
throw signal and everybody goes and beats up the person already, and then you see that justice has been served because not only have they been beat up,
Yeah, but that's
but
not
they
my
also
point.
been arrested.
It's clear that it's a passing trend that this man did something devious to me, and now I'm gonna go get my lick in.
Yeah,
like
but do
that
you know what
trend,
this
that
is?
devious lick shred, where everybody
Yeah.
was just
But the thing about it is, what we're all hoping for is because in this thing, they pretty much show that almost everyone has unity on this, talking about this was incredibly horrible.
Yeah.
And when they got beat up, the entire internet
it was
went crazy.
justified that they got
And
beat up.
again,
after what
Elliot,
they did.
no one is
That
ever.
could have ended very, very differently if those people just let it happen.
Exactly, and that's what we're all saying. It could have ended very
It
poor.
could have ended very badly, and nobody was going to just sit there and let that happen.
let's talk about
Mom
the
says,
positive.
people should talk more about the elderly man being attacked and could have died just doing his job. Yeah, that very well could have happened. Elliot is talking about white audacity and privilege. Elliot has a good point. Racist white privilege is dangerous, and folks look for revenge, which is a great point, Elliot, and it does raise a very high concern because no matter what happens, somebody could feel like, well, if this is going to happen, well, we're going to be prepared next time because in their mind they thought they were right, but we don't. It could have very well ended very bad. That's why everybody was happy that as many people stepped in as they did, because it gives you a hope for society that we're not just going to let wrongdoing happen. Because lately we just sit back and be like, well, it's the way it is. It sucks that that's the way it is, but it's happened.
Well, let me talk about some of the positives of this. Let's today. And the benefits of this accident and is the fact that nobody died.
Incidents?
I mean,
Actually,
already.
No, you said it. We're grateful that no one.
I really that part.
That nobody
That
died.
part is fine, Matthew,
People
but
got
the
very
concern
well.
is that somebody could have died,
Mhm.
all because of
Oh,
something.
that is very known. But the fact that it didn't happen, it was very good. Even though the people got hurt, or
Basically,
these
it
people
wasn't really
around
good at
it,
all, Matthew.
unlike
If we keep
some of
normalizing
the
the
previous
fact that
accidents. And
people can
I
just
don't want
attack
to
people, and
repeat
we
it.
just say, "Oh, well, it's fine. They got hurt too." It doesn't make it better.
Yeah, don't get me
Some
wrong.
of those white people, the white males, they were younger. That man, I don't know exactly how old he was, but he took a fall, and that could be very dangerous for an elderly person. Now,
Hmm.
so we
Elliot,
don't know any
We
long-term
did,
effects
Elliot.
that could have happened
And here's the thing:
when he took
nobody,
that fall.
nobody is advocating violence. And what does advocating for violence mean? That violence should be your go-to.
I'm not saying
Because
that.
that's what triggered this. Oh, I didn't get my way. You won't let me keep this boat here. So I'm going to make you keep it here because now we're going to fight.
Hmm.
And then somebody hits him from behind, and now he's getting jumped. So then everybody gets involved. Nobody's just going to sit there, even on the playground. You don't, from being in a traditional brick and mortar school, if you see your friend getting jumped by a bunch of people, you call your friends
And you go,
and you go and stop that.
Exactly.
However, you
Or
do
you
have
get back.
those few that may go overboard and be like, okay, this is what we're doing, and they escalate. But you also see that there were other security guards and cops on the pier, and in one of the clips, and they're sitting there watching to make sure it doesn't get too out of hand.
and that's why.
Because it is a state law that you can fight for you in self defense for somebody or yourself. That is the law. So at that point, they weren't breaking any laws. Now, when people started getting arrested, people were saying, "Watch this footage that we have because it captured everything that happened, and they were in the wrong." So good on them for being bystanders and letting them know.
Yeah, let the revolutionary speak.
the the best part about out this accident is that if they actually didn't let it get too far, they didn't decide to most likely buy weapons or and get a whole, let's say, group of people and start a riot. It,
Yeah,
luckily,
it was a blessing that they didn't
they just went back,
find their weapons.
beat them up a little bit, and then left. That's that's the best thing that actually can have happened because there are
Uh,
so many accidents that have happened.
I think the
And
word you're looking
to
for,
be fair, the reason
accident would mean that
that
it did.
escalated was because the dudes walked away after they beat up that dude because they thought, okay, we beat up this dude, so now we're gonna go back to our boat while still screaming racial slurs at you while you check on this man.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that came out that they were still aggravating them. The dude that jumped off the boat was saying things. It was we can't really hear the audio, but you get that something must have happened to provoke a response like that.
I guess the Zulu. Look, man, you don't understand. When it comes down to tribes like that, there was nothing. They won. The thing about it is you cannot beat people on home turf. You cannot beat people who know the land. It was not the fact that we couldn't fight. It was the fact we chose not to. And when it came down to fighting, we were able to go. When you learn that in Haiti, we were able to grab their weapons and go like, all right, if this is the way we got to fight, then may the best man win.
Some of the craziest wars have been won just by home advantage, like you said.
the funniest
Like
thing that happened,
when the Nazis tried to go invade Russia, and now there's several memes about it. Like why you shouldn't go and try to invade Russia without winter clothes, or how the people were crossing the river Didn't know it was a river. It's a lot of things that happen on home turf. So you
I
gotta
mean,
understand. If you gonna walk
that's the
into
thing,
somebody's
though.
territory, you best prepare.
Especially in places like Africa. When you look at Africa, you realize it's a desert, right? Most of the parts is desert. You got places like Egypt over there, and when you look at that, you're like, how in the world are we supposed to survive in the desert? And then when you look at really Africa, the place with all the animals and stuff, you realize the animals and stuff here are incredibly violent for the most part. When you see things like hyenas, as well as trees that have been dug out by ants, and you see giant elephants, you realize nothing here is going to be able. Are you going to be able to kill, eat, or even possibly survive dealing with? Because all it takes is one night of misunderstanding of where you're going or what you're doing, and then automatically
Yeah, you ain't coming
your
back.
entire party has gone missing.
Well, let's respond to some comments.
It has been demonstrated throughout history that blacks fought against white racist violence and only lost because of Jim Crow supporters,
Mm-hmm.
numbers, and political backing. Our society is no longer living in that era. And yeah, they need to be mindful. And right there, our society is no longer living in that era. And nor are they accepting of going back into catering to those mentalities of that era. So that I do get a little bit triggered when people say, "Oh, we're not our ancestors." That's then you don't know your ancestors because they did fight.
And
It's just the era that they were in, and the numbers did not support that. But now you are in a position that yeah, you're not going to take that and you fight against that mentality.
and hopefully the people that saw that video, which were racist, extra whitey, and that were racist, got a warning and not to actually ever try to attack or offend a black person because never.
Intimidation.
Intimidation.
I believe.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
was gonna say that.
for brevity purposes, yeah, intimidation. I did a I did a show on topography of Africa. It is a diverse land that has deserts and forests. Great point, Sean Anthony. Yes, indeed, great point.
I mean, I hate to see somebody try to go into the rainforest and think I'm going to conquer this land. Because when you learn about the rainforest, heck, it's pretty much what you learn about most places. You could even look at man, I completely Mount Everest, for instance. You can go so many places with so much thought that I'm gonna do it, and then you will never be seen again because you thought for some reason you were the one, when in reality you were the one of many.
Yeah, Maddie makes the revolutionary makes a great point because past fights in Montgomery have ended with citywide violence and lynching. And the problem is we have we have seen it before, and we do fear. Well, I at least fear that cowards they do what they're still going to do what they're going to do, and they might go and just on a random violence spree just because they felt like they were wrong.
Exactly.
And
More times than not.
we know what guns do, and we know that we have a problem with gun violence. And that mental health thing is
Especially Texas.
The
that
mental
whole
health thing is
the whole mental health thing is when we say the whole hopes and prayers and we're working on mental health. That is a send off because let me tell you, if you really wanted to help with people's mental health, that's just all what you should do. There's several things that you could do. Make psychology a mandatory class. just as you do math. If it's really that much of a problem, and we have seen it over the last, believe it or not, 12 years, make it a mandatory class. Make let
Yes.
the ability for psychologists to get paid by taxpayers.
And
These are two things that you could do that could help people with mental health. But unfortunately, it's easier to just say it's not a problem. And then we do have to live in fear because when people actually defend themselves, now they could end up getting shot.
I mean, and not only that,
I don't think.
That attacked by Maddie's afro.
Yes.
yes, we all got shot.
What was the name of that one dude?
Yeah, the
that
camera
one
moved.
black dude from that movie with the machine gun, and he was talking about he's here to free the slaves.
that's how I got
I don't
puffed up.
remember that.
Yeah, I just know his name.
That's how I got my hair puffed up.
I don't know.
I got electrocuted, and now it's up.
I thought you were talking about Django for a minute. But I
Yeah,
don't
me
think.
as well. I was like, but Django was not in the time.
Yeah, that wasn't a machine gun. I don't know the movie that you're talking about. If anybody knows, feel free to comment it.
And
Mhm.
remember, we do read comments, and
Yes, post show, post live stream, we do
And-
still read comments.
and even when it's
Yeah.
so,
What's in the comments? Do you think
it's
their
not
violence
either.
is justified? They're counter violence, not the violence.
Yeah, it's not the original fight.
Yes.
Yeah, we're I don't know about y'all, but we're having
right.
problems back here.
Oh, that's fine. I'll pick up the slack. After all, I still got more to talk about. After all, because the thing about it is, the more you look at it, the more you realize that not only could this have been because as Elliot said, and as you have said, this could have been a worse situation because, in all honesty, it could have took a lot of people because people were out there trying situation to be like those bad people on both sides. And it could have gone bad because what could have happened is if enough people gave into that and were like, yeah, there's bad people on both sides, and when rioted, that it would have been a complete other situation because that that type of stuff happening down there is incredible possibility, and
Okay,
even
that's
worse,
good.
you may not even know it.
Because I wasn't sure if they could see us. Because sometimes I do feel like we're accidentally cutting folks off because y'all audio, it may jump in and we're hear somebody talking and be like, is that somebody talking? It's a lot of problems. We're trying to get used to this setup. Or maybe it's Matthew's hair. Maybe it's the radio waves going through the hair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe I'm shocking the computer too much.
yeah. The power from Matthew's head, the power from the revolutionary. It's just overflooding the system. We can't deal with it.
But if the police ever ask, don't let them check my afro.
What's it? The radio waves? They just gonna hear like, we hear.
No, it's worse. My pick.
You lost the pick in your head. Black power for real.
Mhm. But
But
no,
we
I
have,
agree. We are living in really strange times right now. Because the thing about it is, you got people out here. You even got judges out here showing entirely different bias that is complete, and it's scary because of the fact that if you're showing a bias, such as being like, oh, this person looks like a criminal. This person doesn't deserve this right. I see this person as doing this. This person's been here a lot. Then, yeah, you have to wonder what times are we living in? Because if you're sitting there deciding the fates of everyone just because on your own prejudice, and then going like, oh, well, we're not getting our way, so we're going to beat you up. It's a really scary time. But then what that video showed was that during these times, somebody nobody's gonna sit around and no one's gonna look like, oh, I can't do anything because, as people have said, their ancestors. As much as we want to say our ancestors fought, some of our ancestors were told that they could not fight and that they had to suck it up and just watch it happen and hope that it doesn't go to them.
Yeah.
Well, people did, and you need to understand, people did fight and died, but it wasn't a. I think why everybody was happy was somewhat uh, relieved and happy with this situation because one, it shows that black people do stand up for other people. We're not just sitting there because even in our music, we're sitting there. Okay, it's cutthroat time. Even even the song that the country writer had tried out in a small town, it shows that well we do that with our own. Well, black people do the same thing too. We're not just going to sit down and let you victimize us. But it does raise the one reason I think everybody's really happy is that nobody got shot because it is not lost on people that gun culture, America's gun culture, is rather messed up. Like to all the people involved in that battle, nobody, no shots rung out, nobody lost their life. People are live to get arrested.
Yeah, but the dude was there
Tip,
that
tip for
this is
everyone.
Mortal Kombat. That dude who yelled Mortal Kombat, he was there
Uh-huh.
in the middle of the crowd. Mortal Kombat. The fight started there.
No, I think I know why there was no guns or nothing like that. Because there was a good old dad in the crowd that said, "Use your fists," and then that was just it.
I wonder if that music is popular.
Well, anyway, and the best part about this is randomly, I bet you didn't see this, but somebody came down from the sky, brought Teddy, and slapped him into the people. Teddy can confirm this.
No, Dad
What?
didn't see the live replay of the match. The fatality.
Yeah, fatalities. Nobody died. No, nobody died. Thank God. But
Yeah, I think you think of the X-ray move.
I know they were throwing a wing.
somebody made a fatal blow with a chair, slammed in water, things like that.
But you know what
But
would be the best
nobody ended up dead. People lived to actually get arrested and get justice.
And
For
even better, people are training to use their aluminum chairs better.
Yes, and melt
no,
down all
that's not a plus.
I'm pretty sure you heard
melt down
this
all of their guns to make
Man,
foldable chairs.
Matthew, I'm pretty sure you've heard this joke already, but I think it's a really good joke because it's dark, but it also helps you realize the dark reality that we live in nowadays.
I don't know.
Why does Batman wear half a mask?
No.
So the
Oh no! I've seen this meme.
Yep, my eyes
Yeah,
follow.
I've seen that meme too. But then again, I don't think people are looking at Batman and being like, because all I'm thinking about is, are you going to arrest a man that's in a bat suit beating up people?
The question is, Batman doesn't really arrest people; just leave them there for the cops. But like
Where's
when he
Black?
leaves them there, they're like brutally injured.
Open
Think about it. You'll never resort to crime again because your hospital fees.
I don't think we want to go down this route of comic books because we all read comic books. And then we're being here for a whole nother hour trying to discuss comic book logic.
Or like my second favorite quote, a life of almost is a life of never.
Oh yeah, my
And who
birthday.
said that?
My birthday is coming
You don't
up.
know?
So we will have a 3-hour special on you.
Now I'm starting to question.
I don't know who said it.
I don't like questions.
However, I do know.
Yes.
Stay confident and remember that Malcolm X said, if not, then when? If not me, then who? That
I don't know what that means.
I do know. The life of almost is a life of never. That's a good quote, but I don't. Do you know who said it?
Yeah, do you know who said this quote? Adventure is out there.
Shut up, Papa.
Or my second favorite quote, R.
No.
Captain Hook.
No, I think Captain Hook's phrase was That's me. Right before you get the TikTok
No,
with the
No.
water.
I can
Jump
see
up
I can
front.
see a meme. I can already see a meme. If somebody if some in a WWE,
So I'm pretty sure somebody is probably going to edit that being a WWE ring,
but
and
it's
all
a
you hear is
double match. But it's a double match that he gets Kenny.
Yeah. To be honest, this
yeah,
did. To be honest, that whole brawl turned into a fairly hilarious event, and it made everybody, as though the seriousness still remains. And yes, it definitely needs to be talked about.
yeah. And again, nobody's
People
advocating
were
violence.
able to overcome that barrier
A
and
lot
look
of
at
people
that.
were able to
Don't be
stand up for themselves. And
take us from the man and with a big afro. Do not stand idly by. Take action. And if you see somebody getting jumped
sounds like you're trying to start a riot.
Yeah,
and
that too.
feel like somebody's
I,
going
I,
to
I'm
get
supposed to
jumped,
be the revolutionary.
He is the revolutionary. He's gonna start something revolutionary, all right. Once people go
Start a revolution.
but just don't watch somebody get killed or worse.
Yes. When it comes down to people nowadays, you need to watch, be very aware of what's going on, and when you look at it, you need to go ahead and realize we gotta. There's got to be a solution.
Do not just take out your phone and think that's enough. Set up your phone.
Looking at your phone and do stuff, but if you're in a situation where you could actually help, you should probably help.
Yeah, and again, that goes with the psychology of help. When people see something happen, they immediately go into the why should I help? I don't think there's enough reason for me to. Somebody else will
Yeah.
help. And then when people start helping, then they jump in. But props to them for just seeing this man and just wanting to help. Dude seemed like a very upstanding guy. Even after getting jumped, passing out, and making sure he's all right, he said, "Well, I still have a job to do," and start tying up the boats to the dock.
Hey,
But
respect. I gotta respect the. I gotta respect the.
He didn't go back for no petty revenge or anything. He just continued.
Yeah, he
on
was
with
like,
his
I
job.
am going to get paid for this work, and I will not worry about some people who believe that they can threaten me. And instantly got back to work. So, hey, respect, man.
But I just want to say, hey, do not interfere with the police work because I don't want to see.
Yes, police work, security guard work. Does my be respectful?
Hey, one thing though. One
It
thing.
depends on what type of
Yeah,
interfering you're doing.
Don't be a security guard and be like, I got assaulted. Let me get back. No, it's time to go. It's time to go ahead and say, hey, employer, I got beat up. Some otherworldly force from a horror movie came up. I'm not trying to sit here all night and watch your thing after getting a half explanation of what my job is. If they call on the phone and they sound real hurried, like, yeah, we can get you in right now. We'll pay you $100 for each hour, and then they hang up immediately. Nah, bro, I gotta go.
And also now
What is the
The person with poison still there.
for my last minute in talking, I will talk about how Black History Month should have 2 months or at least a few more days.
It should be a whole year. A year, I say. A year. Politics.
Yeah.
But
We
remember, if you know that you can stand up and do something right, do it. And also, if you get locked in a cave by somebody named Mr. Go-Go, don't kill the animal.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Go-Go wants you to kill it. Mr. Go-Go is evil.
Why is this
one last comment.
With
My
his
favorite
mind power,
is
his telekinesis.
I always start writing with a clean sheet of paper, but the words from my mind make it dirty. Which, you know what, that's a pretty accurate explanation of
Elliot's
arts. But you know what?
Also, we couldn't get Donald Duck on today.
No.
Sick. And also for copyright reasons, he could not have said anything he was going to say.
But we did get
Jazz.
Yeah. That's our hour, folks. Enjoy
Yeah,
your
this is
jobs.
the
Enjoy
show.
the song, the ballad of the Montgomery.
That's all.